Hello, welcome to part 11 of Wolves on the BackBit. I tell you, I have a lot more footage than I thought I did, so, what was going to get wrapped up at about part 8, well, I'm just going to keep going. But at this point, what are we doing? Pushing the limits. Now, this clickbaity title is actually true. I am pushing the limits. Now that I have a routine that kind of works, I'm going to break it. Let's see what happens when I make the Digi NMI do more and more work with every sample play. And eventually, the whole thing's going to fall on its face. So that's kind of fun to watch. And secondly, I, bring in the SuperCPU again and pretend that they did get along. And for some reason, they do during this particular round of testing. But let's see, if I had the SuperCPU's assistance, what sort of frame rate I could achieve with it. And wow, and even with the code I have, I know it's not the best code, so I could do even better than what you see here. This is very promising, very promising. Too bad the SuperCPU didn't take off or got reintroduced as an add-on cartridge by itself. Anyway, and lastly, I tinker with sample rates. Now, my Digi is currently at I think 7,867 hertz, which equates to one sample every two raster lines. Well, what happens if we halve that, or quarter that, or eighth that? You want to hear what that sounds like? You will. And yeah, just because I can do it, and I was curious, so yeah, you might be curious to see too, or hear in this case. But anyway, let's get to it. Part 11, Pushing the Limits. Another experimental round of stupidity on my part. But anyway, I enjoyed doing it. All right, let's watch.
Not only is the color being set on the way in and the way out, it's being incremented 4 times during each NMI, just to see how slow I can make it and how many frames I lose because of it. When there was 3 increments, I was losing 405 frames. I expect even more now. Five increments, plus an initial color and a coloring of white on the way out. Choppy. 6 increments in the meantime. Starting to trip over itself, it seems. Lagging massively. 552 frames were skipped when I had 5 increments. I like how I can kinda stay on track though. Still 6 increments. The difference here is I changed it so instead of branching to waste time if DO11 is negative, it checks if DO12 is 252 as per usual. And that was enough to make this happen. Interesting. I think one more increment, even the old way it was, will cause this to occur too. I think it's interrupting itself or it's really overwhelmed. 7 increments. It is incredibly choppy. 609 were skipped when there was 6. Oh, it just missed an audio. This hasn't happened yet. There's another audio skip. And another, I think. At 36 value of since last, after 36 frames, screen refreshes, it decides it is definitely time to attend to audio. Now that isn't enough, but I only needed to change it from 40 Oh, long ago. Since last equals 34, 8 increments. Audio is obviously glitching again.
Oh, the water always tastes so good here.
9 increments.
If only they were here.
Isn't this good, Father?
It sure is, kiddo. Yeah, it'd sure be better if she were here. Huh?
This is what happens if I have 12 increments and I have to avoid some branch out of ranges now. It's pooched. Oh, did the frame change? So did the audio, a little bit. Come on, fishies, move. Oh, they totally did. Yeah. This is going to take forever, isn't it? So instead of 12, we're down to 10. I left the branch out of ranges in place. They need to be. This is going to take forever.
Oh, the water always tastes so good here. Good here. If only they were here. Here.
Now, the audio and the video take forever with 10 increments, but when the video is done, the colors settle into a nice, pretty pattern. Beauty. Except for the bottom. Kind of cool, though. This is what happens if we set since last to 255, so it never really leaves the video to go 10 to the audio if it needs to. You notice the frames play in groups of 4. And of course, the video is getting way ahead of the audio. The audio has looped a couple times. Now for kicks, I tried out the SuperCPU again, and 0 missed frames when it's in play. At the moment, I'm at 160 missed frames if I'm at slow normal speed. I still have to improve that. But I don't know what I was doing wrong in the past, but something has changed or something has improved, and I've naturally, whatever I've been doing wrong has repaired itself. Check this out. It is compatible with the SuperCPU. The BackBit and the SuperCPU, check it out. This is a solid 6 frames a second, which is my end goal, but right now I'm cheating because I'm using the fast mode. You notice there is absolutely no corruption. So now watch me slow this down. I'm going to get my switch ready. There. It's still rendering to 2 buffers. But you notice it's slowed. And I'll just turn it up. Down. And fast again. Okay, I just stopped the test early here. I'm going to show you guys. I'm using the SuperCPU, which is, cheating, but I want to see what the most I can pull out of this. Now, I have set it to, at the moment, it's 2 frames rendering from 2 buffers, I'm using the careful, slower NMI that avoids the bad lines. So it's got two handicaps right there. And the BackBit, I want to see make that the slowest part of the event. Now I have it set to increment every 4 screen refreshes, so instead of 10. So now it's going to be trying to play at 15 frames a second, even though I only have it rendered for 6. So it's going to be getting way ahead of the audio. But anyway, when the background color changes, that is an indication that the system was overwhelmed and it was forced to skip a frame. So here we go. And the BackBit is going crazy.
Always tastes so good here. Oh, if only they were here.
So we get out of there and just get an update. But if I set it to 5, well, if I set it to 5 here, I have to change it in 4 different places, but it can keep up with 5, but not 4. So like at 5, it's 12 frames a second. It can do that, no sweat, you know, but whatever. This is cheating. The trick is, can I get it to do 6 frames a second at 1 megahertz? And just so you can see, this is, what are we doing here? Every 5. So that is 12 frames per second. No frames are lost. It can keep up.
Oh, the water always tastes so good here. Oh, if only they were here.
Now let's change the buffers from just using 2 back to 4 and see if I can drop it down to 15 frames a second.
Kiddo.
All right, here we go. 15 frames a second and 4 buffers now. So it should have a little more wiggle room and it shouldn't get overwhelmed. Looks good. Let's go try for 20. Set everything from 4 to 3. All right, now can we do 20 frames a second with the Super CPU? I think that's a yes. We haven't dropped one yet.
Oh, the water always tastes so
Changing the 3s to 2s is going to make it 30 frames a second. Let's try. So here we go. Now we're trying 30 frames a second. Surely the BackBit cannot feed the data at the speed necessary. And I was right. It is choking now. Wonder why that's flashing like that.
The water always tastes so good here. Oh, if only they were here.
Still, it's only rendering to 2 buffers, or 2 different frames. And we're about to run out of video.
Yeah, it'd sure be better if she were here. What's up?
It's a blip vert. Oh, it's over. Okay, assuming I got this information right, because I'm only going to get one crack at this, it's going to wreck the source code once I run it. Let's see if I can try to play 30 frames a second into 4 actual buffers. Here we go.
Oh, the water always tastes so good here. Oh, if only they were here.
You know, get rid of the border crap, and
It sure is, kiddo.
if I had an automated way of creating the koala images,
It'd be better if she were here.
you could literally have a program recorded and played back on the Commodore 64 with the Super CPU.
Never bring May here.
I just thought of something. Let's play it. I mean, the source code is trashed, but I can still play the machine language. In the middle of this, I'm going to switch it from 20 megahertz to 1 and watch it completely choke. Wonder what it's pooching on. Speed up, dude.
Oh, the water always tastes so good here.
No, it's buggered. I don't know what happened. Ah, you beast.
Isn't this good, Babu?
It sure is.
Wait, there's a reason for everything. Watch this. I know why it'll choke. It'll play at slow speed. It will play the first few frames and then it'll die. There. And you know why? Because the amount of skipped frames that have accumulated, it just multiplies it by 40 and uses that to advance the video stream. But I didn't expect it to have more than 5 or 6 queued up at once, like skippable. So my multiplication table for 40 is 0, 40, 80, 120, 160, 200, and that's it. So when there's more skips to be done than that, it's reading ahead into random data, throwing the video pointer way off course, and anything can happen, and anything does. Now I'm still piddling around and experimenting, but check this out. I changed the frequency, the NMI frequency. It's normally 129. I changed it to 255. Now, naturally, because the NMI is occurring a lot less often, the sound is half the speed. But let's double the playback rate at half the speed. So, in effect, my Digi or whatever is 7,800 and something hertz. This is mimicking, say, less than 4,000. And here's the difference in quality if I used a one of such a bad rate. And every time the border color changes, that's when a skipped frame occurs. So, I mean, it's still happening. It's not worth dumbing down my audio even further, but check this out.
Oh, the water always tastes so good here. Oh, the water everywhere here.
Isn't this good, Babu?
It sure is, kiddo.
You know what comes next? I'm going to make it 4 increments and double the frequency again. Pretend I have a 2,000 hertz Digi file. Let's try it. Now, just so we're not wasting so much time, I, did this instead of a bunch of increments. But luckily, I'm using low byte, high byte, or whatever in my Setamadoux, so I don't even have to worry about this. So that's going to be taken care of automatically. Let us assemble and see what it sounds like. This is going to be awful. I can't wait. Here we go. Simulated 2,000 hertz playback. Bah. And I'm still, losing what? Let's see what my playback rate is. 90%. Although, I am only using, where is it? There. I'm only using 1 buffer, or 2 buffers instead of 4, just because I always get worse performance that way, so any changes I make are going to have a big improvement sooner. But anyway, okay, enough screwing around. Let's put this back to normal. Okay, I'm just going to done screwing around after this. 1,000 hertz simulated. Here we go. actually, ah, crap. Try doing this with one hand. Let's change this back to what it should be, but not change the super fast playback, because it's still doing 8. It's skipping it's skipping 7 samples playing 1, right? This is going to be super fast squirrel-like audio, I bet. And the corruption, as you can see, because it's skipping more frames than 8 or 6. Wow. Okay, I still have it, instead of skipping 8, now it skips 4. Well, that's so cool. Okay, hang on. Okay, slow this down a little bit. I have to keep it in pairs of 2, though. Otherwise, it is going to miss its cue to switch pages. So this is now double speed only. Crap. And if I enter that wrong, it's going to crash and wreck stuff. You can see how much more often the background is changing because the audio is requesting so much attention, the video has no choice but to fall behind. And that is truly enough of me screwing around for now. It's time to go back to playing Fall Guys. This guy looks like he's high or something.